Obviously, you've been the mayor
Yep.
for now almost the last 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
But there are a lot of new residents, right?
Absolutely.
As the high desert's been growing, the city of Adelanto's been growing.
Yep.
Why don't you tell the residents and the citizens a little bit about who Gabriel Reyes is?
Gabriel Reyes, just and just a quick little moment is just I'm someone from Adelanto. My family, we've been there since '92. I grew up on the north side of town. Have immigrant parents, and was very fortunate to be able to call home, Adelanto home. I did move to Hawaii for a couple of years. That's where I grew professionally, where I met my wife and we got married. My beautiful wife, Charity Reyes. We got married in 2013. Had our careers out there, doing great, God called us home. It was one of those things where I had the ability to be able to share the strong last 6 years of my dad's life with him, and spend it with my mom, and opened up a couple businesses and got involved in politics in 2018. And fast forward to today, where we've done some great things in Adelanto. I will say that politics is local government. I can speak for local government. It's not everything that you think into what it is when you really get in the seat. Right. So that's one of the biggest things that I learned, is to really be able to have a good understanding of the unity on the council, with staff, with the city manager, to really be able to have some real life projections. So and in short, I'm just someone who's excited to be able to continuously run. I think one of the biggest things that Adelanto needs is consistency and leadership. And that's one of the things I want to most definitely bring to the table by being able to fulfill a second and potentially a third term.
Before we jump in some of that, I want to go back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about where your mom and dad are from. You said they're immigrants.
Yeah, so my mom is from Michoacan, Michoacan, and my brothers are, born in Mexicali, right? My dad is from Juarez, from Chihuahua, but he was raised in Dallas, Fort Worth. He went to James Madison High School, an all-black high school, and did his life there, and then moved to California and studied a little bit of law. But my dad has always had a heart for underserved, underprivileged, troubled youth. So he worked for California Youth Authority, and then he got heavily involved in group homes, got involved at the local high school, Victor Jr., and worked with, the kids who were injured and stuff like that. So my dad always had a heart for those kids, because his story, he didn't know his father, right? He ran away from home at an early age. So it was one of those things where he was able to be more of like a mentor and a father figure to those who didn't have it, right? So extremely grateful, for the things that I learned from my dad, the life lessons and the core values from my parents. Most definitely a core values of like working hard, being a man of your word, right? And making sure that what you commit to, you get done.
Yeah. I want to talk about a little tough thing for a couple minutes. And I know, as we're doing this interview and the citizens of Adelanto may have saw from the outside in, like, hey, where's the mayor been? Some things going on. And I know you lost your dad in January of 2021. Yep. And why don't you talk about that for a little bit and talk about just what happened with you?
And that's hard, because it's one of those things. I've always been a very private person with my personal life, right? Being involved, in our church, First Assembly of God, in the roles that we fulfilled in the mayoralship. I've never been used to being the front of something. I've always loved kind of being the person supporting and things of that sort. And when my wife and I, we both suffered drastic losses. My father-in-law passed away the 19th of November of 2020. And then my father passed away the 24th of January of 21. So in 60 days, I lose the two father figures in my life, and two major pillars who were supportive in my campaign in 18. And it was a hard decision to be able to look inward and really acknowledge that, I'm hurt. I'm broken, with all the responsibilities that I've stepped into and that I've committed to. But I knew that I had to be honest with myself and say that I need to take I need to acknowledge that I need to take some time to heal, to be able to go through this process of losing loved ones. Like many people in the world suffered drastic losses through COVID and other things, through the global pandemic that we had. I needed to be able to spend some time to make sure, most importantly, my wife is okay, that my mother was okay, and that I was able to be okay and heal. But I would say one of the things that I still prioritized was to make sure that we were still there and doing the things and fulfilling the needs of the community. Right, we had amazing partners who stepped up to help the community, not just, our church, First Assembly of God. We had our Catholic Church and a lot of other nonprofits and groups that came together to assist. Curbside, and those are just to name a few, right? Extreme Ministries, Supreme Ministries. Everyone came together, and when things were needed or asked of myself or the city manager and members of the council, we came together, and it was very hard because I do enjoy being in the community. I do enjoy being able to be readily available, and I still made myself available via the phone or calls or text messages and things like that. But the lack of presence was something that I needed to make sure that before I got out there again, that I was able to really be the best that I needed to be. So it was a hard season. But it's something that I hope that the community, that our residents, they understand. Thank you for all the prayers. And I just pray that they do understand that in these tough moments, I'm still human, right? And need to take some time to get good.
Yeah, I know we talked about it, but through that journey, good mental health was part of that. Why don't you just talk about, just to touch on that?
Man, the mental health, and I would say that's something that to everyone as we come together through our community, is to really be able to bring that. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I would love this, this administration and those who are running or winning, whatever the case may be, let's focus on that, right? No one was expecting or prepared for this type of pandemic that we experienced. And so many people were affected, myself included. You know me, I've, with my faith, I have a very strong mental health and emotional health, but the pain, it is something that's unreal, right? And I think that in this season, being able to have resources, to be able to have the moments where people can come together and bring that unity again, to bring that oneness as a community is something that is drastically needed. And I say, if someone like myself, who I consider myself to be mentally strong and emotionally strong, went through it, my heart goes out to those who are still going through it.
Yeah. That I know about you. Both you and your wife, both extroverted individuals, love people, love being out, and both of you really went inside.
Tough.
And mulled through some of that, right?
Yep.
Let's segue a little bit, because I know you personally, I know your love for the residents, I know your love for the city, and really wanted to do right inside of that. But why don't you let them know, look at the camera, let them know how they can connect with you.
I'm always available. I think that's one of the biggest things through my whole campaign and then my whole term. I always made myself available. I gave my city email, my city phone, my city number, 760-987-5763. You can reach me, 7 days a week. I would ask, out of respect for my wife, once the sun goes down, right? I really do try to value that time to be with my family, but text me, call me. I will pride myself in that and make sure that I'm always available to answer any questions, to answer any concerns. And one of the biggest things that I want to do, right, is lead by example, right? And one of the biggest things that I've acknowledged that I need to work on is that continuous consistency in being available, right? So, there's going to be a lot of things. I'm going to have a calendar up on our website, mayorreyes.com, to be able to just engage and see where I am, right? I want to be in different areas. I want to be accessible physically so that you can reach out to me, right? If you have that time, come by, let's grab a coffee. I've always said, if I have time or you have a day off and you want to grab a bite to eat, let's go to Denny's. Let's go to Raoul's. Let's get some coffee. Let's talk, right? Let's connect, because yes, I am the mayor of the city and I want to earn your support and earn your vote to be the mayor again for another 4 years. But it takes the community, right, to be able to enhance and better our way of living, So I just ask you for that, right? If you have any questions, any concerns, you want to just get to know me, talk a little bit, again, 760-987-5763. Let's connect, let's talk. And let's work together to better our way of life here in the city of Adelanto.
And then get you on social media as well, right?
Yeah, social media, Mayor Gabriel Reyes, city of Adelanto, and then my personal page, Gabriel Reyes on Instagram. If you're heavy on Instagram, right, the People's Mayor. And then just get a hold of me. If you want to email me, if you're that type of person, Gabriel@mayorreyes.com. Again, I will provide the ways of communication, and I will just respectfully ask if there's anything that you hear, any questions, anything, shoot me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. Let's talk, let's connect, let's engage, and let's work together to just make Adelanto better.
Nice. So let's transition a little bit. Yep. Let's pivot a little bit. Tell me what's your campaign and what does it stand for?
So this re-election is more personal than before, right? Not having my father, not having my father-in-law. It was really one of those things. What's going to really focus on the importance of Adelanto? My mentor, she gave me an amazing quote, right? Whenever you're voting, whenever you're discussing, whenever you're doing anything for the city, am I voting for what's best for the city of Adelanto, right? And that's one of the things that with this campaign, it's vision over politics. It's results over politics. It's values over politics. It's community over politics. It's family over politics. Those are the 5 pillars of my campaign, because that's what I really do believe is important to be able to have a sustainable economy in our city, right? What's the vision? Where are we going? Right, what vision do I have? What vision does the council have? What is the city staff doing to better our way of life? What are we going to do 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now, right? That's what we like to call our master plan. What results have we done, right? Let's really get out there and share the success and the growth that we've had through a global pandemic. I think that's one thing that even for myself, I took for granted. Like, wow, we still were doing stuff as the world was shutting down, right? The values of the city. What do I mean by that? Not personal values, but values of the city. What do we want to be? What do we want to attract? What do we want to focus on, right? Again, our community. We have to have that community engagement, that community support, because it's not just the 5 of us. Yes, we may vote, we may have the tough decisions, but it's the community that has to get together to do what's best for the city. And then most importantly, doing it for our families, right? The decisions that we make today, they're not going to have a massive impact on me, but they're going to have a massive impact on our kids and our kids' kids and their kids, right? So the foundation, the fundamentals, the framework that we're creating right now in this administration is going to be pivotal for the future of Adelanto.
Yeah. I think you've done a great job for the last 4 years, but can you talk a little bit about what the top achievements were, but what were also the top challenges?
So, top achievement. The biggest thing I would say is, for the first time since 2010, we can proudly say that we balanced our city budget. That is something that hasn't been done since we sold our prison asset in 2010, and we were able to balance the budget. We inherited, my administration inherited a negative $6.5 million structural deficit, right? For those who don't know what that means that every single year, our expenses were $6.5 million higher than the cash flow that we had coming in. So we were having to, like that saying, right? Borrow from Peter to pay Paul. And it's great to be able to say that in our 3rd year, we were able to balance our budget, right? Something that, come to find out, most municipalities struggle with doing. That was a big shocker to me. Another major achievement, we had 6 years, a total of 12 different type of audits, our physical audits, our bank reconciliation, and our water audits that were not done. So we fulfilled all of those audits and got caught all the way back up, right? And then one of the biggest things, something that was voted on by our constituents in 2016 was we embraced, it's no secret, we embraced the cannabis industry. And the last 2 years, we were able to collect $4.5 million. And this past fiscal year, we were able to collect $4.7 million of an excise tax, right? To prior administration, they were only collecting like $200,000, right? To be able to go from that to where we are, it's a massive success, right? Another one, I can go on with the successes, so I'll leave one more, is we were able to really reconnect the important relationships with our local government. And what do I mean by that? Establish our relationships again with Caltrans, with Edison, with LAFCO, right, with our board of supervisors, and really be able to show that credibility and that unity, that Adelanto, we're no longer what we were in the past, right? We are the gem of the Victor Valley. So those are some of the successes. The rest I'll have up on the website under the results over politics. But some of the struggles, the negative deficit, right? There's a lot of things that we still need. A quality parks and rec department. But all of these things require money, right? So for us, we had that struggle. How do we bring parks? How do we bring jobs? How do we increase infrastructure when we have a negative deficit, right? So we had the issue, and we're very fortunate to be able to have creative, out-of-the-box thinkers amongst council and staff. So no money really, right? A negative $6.5 million structural deficit. That was a major issue. But the biggest one that impacted everybody, going into my quote unquote sophomore year, my second year of being mayor, we had a global pandemic. The world shut down. Yeah. And someone that's not been in politics for very long had to find ways to be able to work with that. Right, so that was a major a negative effect. But the biggest one that has slowed us down, I would say, is there is a ordinance that was established in 1986 by the mayor at the time, who created a resolution and an ordinance with Caltrans to block and essentially kill all economic development of a Highway 395. Right, Highway 395 is our blood flow. It runs from the 15. It's called Three Flags Highway because the 15 goes down to Mexico and it connects to 395. 395 runs all the way up to the Canadian border, right? So that is a major thoroughfare, and there has been no economic development allowed since 1986, right? So we have to look, if we're struggling in cash flow, we need to find out why. So we found out why in 2019. We removed that ordinance and resolution, and we've been working thoroughly with Caltrans to get that removed off of the books on their books, right? So we're excited about that. We're almost done with that. So those are just some of our challenges that we face. But we're a team that we really believe that if money or time can solve it, we don't have a problem. We have a situation, right? So we think outside of the box. We find solutions. One of the acronyms that we live by as a council and as a staff, right, is the acronym of R: access, relationships, and experience. And those are some of the things that we look for as we build this city.
So come November, if you win, what's the first challenge that you're going after, first opportunity that you...
First opportunity is really sit down and create a master plan. I think now we're at a point where we could sit down and really create a genuine master plan with removing of this issue with Caltrans and removing that block, but really sit down and really create our retail components, right? Be able to create our residential components and create a master plan where we can have that 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year goals, so that even when I'm out of office, the city can still propel and move forward.
What does the city look like in 5 and 10 years?
5 years, more than 50,000 residents, right? Right now, we're a rural city. We were the largest growing city from the past census. We grew more than 19% and about 7,000 residents from 2010 to 2020. And the goal is to build 5,000 more homes. And the reason why to build 5,000 more homes, that's excise tax, that's real estate tax, right? All of those things benefit the general fund in our local communities and our local schools. So building 5,000 more homes with the per capita per home is going to be roughly 12 to 13,000 more residents. 38,000 residents plus 13,000 more residents, that's put us at 51,000 residents. And that gives us more access to be able to work directly with the state and funding programs and resources. Don't get me wrong, we have a great relationship with the county, and we will continue that relationship, but being an urban city just gives us more direct access with our state.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service so far, and good luck to the next, hopefully 4 years that you get elected. Before we end, can you look at the camera? Just let them know why should they vote for Gabriel Reyes?
The reason why I ask for your vote and I ask for your support for this re-election year is I really do believe that we need consistency in leadership. Every 4 years, someone changing or the vision changing, it's hard for staff to be able to focus on the core values of what the administration is looking for, right? So that consistency and allowing me to be able to fulfill the vision that I have for the city, right? To be able to build the homes, to continuously bring the parks, to bring the jobs, because it truly is economic development that's going to stimulate our economy. To be able to bring in the retail, the entertainment, where we can, Adelanto could be the city where you live, work, play, eat, and do business, right? So being able to have that consistency is extremely important and vital for the sustainability and the growth of our city. So I look forward to your support. I look forward to be able to talk a little bit more about the vision, and more importantly, whatever concerns it is that you may have, the wants and desires, right? Because that's where we're in to see. Yes, I may have a vision on where I would love to see Adelanto go, but also your wants and your needs and your concerns are extremely important, because I want you to be happy to be able to call Adelanto home.